So Cain Velasquez, this is a bad dude, and a good bad dude, as in immoral, but he's a bad mother, okay? This dude's former Pride heavyweight champion, former UFC interim heavyweight champion. This guy could really mess some people up. Recently, he got caught, okay? He took his truck in a car chase. He rammed into another person's vehicle. He shot at them, and now he's in jail on attempted murder. So why did he do that? What drove him so far to do that? Well, I'll tell you. He has a 4-year-old son, and his son was touched over 100 times. And he heard this from his friend Ryan Bader, who's also a UFC fighter, and they both have their kids at this particular daycare. And this daycare was run by a woman, and her son, her 40-something-year-old son, he lives with her in the daycare that she runs, and he molested this child over 100 times, and who knows how many other children. And he was let out. He was released without bail, supervised, but without bail, right? He was arraigned on one felony of lewd and lascivious act on a child, granted supervised release without bail. Of course, the district attorney wanted this to not happen, was completely against this. You'd think that they would say, hey, maybe we should talk to the father and the mother of this child to see if they'd be comfortable with that. But no, they let this person out without bail. And it's supervised under who? His mother? Who owns the daycare? Who let all this stuff happen? Where was she? Maybe she should be held liable for all of this as well. Not one time, 100 times. And that's that they know of. How many other children? So yeah, I think she should be held liable as well. The daycare should close down. Or at least have to, because he hasn't been found guilty yet, but they should at least have to see, they should at least have to email all the parents or something. I don't know. But the point is, he's under supervision of his mother, and it all happened under her supervision already. So that is messed up. So imagine you're the parent. That would make you very angry. So this guy, Harry Goularte, is going to get his bracelet, his anklet put on so that they can track him and make sure that he doesn't, leave the house or whatever. And Cain Velasquez finds this out. So he grabs his gun, he gets in his truck, and he chases him down. And now he's in jail, and he's not given bail. He's denied bail. He's not allowed to leave. He's staying in there, until trial is over, and then we'll see what happens to him. He might get 20 years to life for this because it's attempted murder. And this other guy's out right now. Isn't that insane? So the question is there a scenario that calls for a person to be judge, jury, and executioner? Is it okay for someone to be Judge Dredd-like when the legal system is letting you down? Let's not forget what the whole purpose of the legal system is. It's to protect you. To protect your person, your private property, your pursuit of happiness. That is the original reason that we have a legal system, that we accept a government. Imagine we were a bunch of settlers. We're farmers. Okay. And we're a small community. There's like 20 of us. We all get along well. We're like family. We barter with one another. We respect one another's property. We're like one huge family. We're a big tribe. And we get along well. And we notice that because we've built such a nice community, other people want to come in and join, outsiders. And we want to welcome these outsiders, but we're a little bit concerned about protecting ourselves, our private property, our pursuit of happiness, these things. So we say, well, maybe we should form one kind of like government, let's say. Let's get a group, a monopoly of force, rather than each of us just sitting on our porch with our guns and then acting like a mob. Let's try to create something, and you start thinking about a justice system and laws and basic things like that. And that is the agreement that everyone makes. It's a societal contract, the social contract that everyone makes to accept this legal authority, this monopoly of force. But what happens when that monopoly of force completely lets you down? If you aren't going to protect my child, how do you expect parents to just sit by and do nothing? We have to, this was a daycare. So when you're selecting a daycare, you're selecting someone to look after your child, to take care of your child, to protect your child. And this place, he dropped his child off, and this place, the very place that he is trusting to take care of and to protect his child, attacked his child many times, horrifically. Hopefully there's no long-term issues with this. And then they go to the legal system and they let the person out. And he's going to be right back in the place where the crimes were taking place, under the same supervision of the person who let him commit those crimes in the first place. And you expect this guy to sit back and do nothing. What is the purpose of the government, of the legal system? What do you do when the legal system fails you? When the laws don't protect you, when corruption is happening with those in the government and those who make the laws. Let's go beyond this and let's just think of the whole concept, the whole idea. Because what do you do when the government is eroding your freedoms? We just said we put it in place. The idea is to have a monopoly of force to protect your rights and freedoms. But what happens when it is taking away your rights and freedoms? When it is attacking you and you can't even hold your own government accountable? I think it was Martin Luther King. Don't quote me on this. I think it was Martin Luther King. It is a moral responsibility. Or you are responsibly, it is a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. So when this monopoly of force that we call government, the legal system, when it is completely letting people down, it is not protecting you. Would you say you have a moral responsibility to disobey it, to try to correct it, to try to fix it, to try to get the corruption out of there? Or do you just keep obeying everything that they're doing, even if it's unjust? We look at I look at this Cain Velasquez situation and I think I would have done the same thing. I like to think I would have done the same thing. Not that I like to think I would be in jail, but if someone else isn't going to protect your child, if you won't protect your own child, then how can you expect other people to do this? We talk about heroes, and all of the heroes that I grew up with, when we think of comic books and everything, like Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, Daredevil, the Punisher, they're all vigilantes. They all take the law into their own hands. They're all from corrupt societies. So we have to figure out where that line is. Where's your line for what you consider a corrupt society? Where's your line for when I think it's time for us to step up? I think it's time for us to hold people accountable. How do you decide when the system is broken, when the legal system isn't working? These are all questions that we're going to have to answer sooner or later, and we should be talking about. This is just an important conversation. And I saw this Cain Velasquez thing, and all I can think of is I don't blame him. They shouldn't have let him out of jail. They shouldn't have let this guy out on no bail. Cain Velasquez is doing what any good parent would do, which is try to protect their child.